There is no way this is right. There's no way this makes any sense. While all Kings fans have been looking at the De'Aaron Fox trade situation, there have been a couple trade developments that are going on right now that frankly make zero sense whatsoever. We also have some updates on the whole Jimmy Butler saga and how the Kings can get involved with that, but frankly, there are a lot of weird reports that I feel like are flying under the radar right now that if things weren't so hectic and so crazy, people would just be confused and emerald like, what's going on with this right now? But because so many eyes are pointed to the De'Aaron Fox stuff, to the John Collins trade, to everything that's happening with the Sacramento Kings at this point, this stuff is just kind of crazy. So we're going to break down it all in this video. But before we do, folks, again, if you want to stay up to date with all of the stuff, whether it's the games, whether it's the De'Aaron Fox trade updates, whether it's the random things that are popping off now behind the scenes with the Sacramento Kings as, this trade deadline inches nearer, no matter how weird they are. You're part of the 83% of our viewers that haven't hit the subscribe button just yet. You've tuned into our vids. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because you're not going to miss a single thing if you hit that subscribe button with this Kings team. So lots of stuff to dive into. And before we dive into the madness, the Myles Turner, the drama and stuff, we do have some interesting updates out there on the Jimmy Butler front. Now, there was some chatter, especially before the De'Aaron Fox stuff popped off, about Jimmy Butler being a guy that kind of makes some sense for the Sacramento Kings. He'd be a vet, he'd come in, he'd really help anchor the, just the energy, be out there on the wing, get you some buckets, would be just a leader, veteran presence out there on the wing. Not the perfect fit, but could be an interesting guy to bring in depending on the value, especially if not a lot of teams are interested in bringing him in. Giving him a King's ransom, letting him get his bag, get a little contract extension, be that leader for this Sacramento Kings team. Of course, Jimmy Butler kind of came out and shot that stuff down, saying he's communicated that he doesn't want to go to the Memphis Grizzlies or the Sacramento Kings. So Kings fans are kind of wrote off with him. He's not the perfect fit. It'd be a real major risk paying him a significant contract at the end of his contract. So doesn't make a ton of sense. That is what it is. That's what's happening. But we do have some developments now on this front because there was the Kings actually came out and addressed this whole situation with a recent report, with a recent sort of discussion. So I wanted to see the Kings clap back at Jimmy Butler. As essentially, according to Sam Amick, the Kings do not see Jimmy Butler as the answer, per league sources. The Kings are not pursuing this disgruntled Miami Heat star who is serving an indefinite suspension while Heat officials attempt to trade him. As we've seen a ton of reports, a ton of things about Jimmy Butler, obviously trying to push his way to the Phoenix Suns. Really, he's trying to push his way to a team that can win, and that will pay him a couple extra years of like $50-60 million. He wants his money, and he wants to win. He wants his cake, he wants to eat it too, and he wants to do it outside of Miami. He doesn't feel like Sacramento's the spot. The Kings have no interest in doing it either, because Bradley Beal is unwilling to forfeit his no-trade clause. The Suns are kind of falling out as an option, so the Kings and Grizzlies have been brought up in recent trade reports today, so that's why I thought this was worth talking about. But don't expect Jimmy Butler to ever be lacing up for the purple and white out there, for be playing for the Sacramento Kings anytime soon. So happy about that development and everything going on. But of course, all eyes have been on the De'Aaron Fox stuff, the Jimmy Butler stuff, and all that type of thing. And something has gone a little bit crazy. Something's gone a little bit haywire out there in terms of reports, in terms of things that have come out for the Sacramento Kings. And this was genuinely shocking to see pop up. And essentially, it's the Lakers are favorites to land Myles Turner, and they're the heavy favorites. And there's a lot of reports, a lot of chatter, a lot of buzz, pretty well every season about the LA Lakers and Myles Turner potentially combining, uniting, getting some forces together. But the crazy thing here, the genuinely ridiculous thing here, the thing that makes no sense, the Sacramento Kings have the second best odds to land Myles Turner in a trade ahead of this year's trade deadline. What on earth is happening for that to be the case? Why on earth would that be going on? Now, this is not me saying Myles Turner's trash. He's some trash basketball player. And better than Jimmy Butler this season. But Myles Turner, averaging 16 points per game, 7 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 2 blocks per night, shooting 40% from the three-point line. Myles Turner's good. He's great. He's a good basketball player. She's 45% on corner threes. I don't want to come out and pretend this is something like I'd never want to see Myles Turner lace up in some Kings shoes out there in the future. But there's a little problem. There's a problem when it comes to Myles Turner being on this Kings roster, not much less the asking price, because the Pacers want more than a first round pick for Myles Turner, which makes sense. He's a good basketball player, center position. It's a demanding position out there in the NBA. Teams want good centers. That's a reality. But I think what a lot of people are, because I've seen a lot of discourse about this, the last little bit. Myles Turner plays the center position. I'm not sure if we're familiar, but we have a true all-star caliber center, should be an all-star center, out there playing for Sacramento right now. Domantas Sabonis, 21 points, 14.5 rebounds, 6.6 assists, shooting better from the three-point line, significantly better than Myles Turner this year. Myles Turner does block more shots. That's the reality. He's a better rim protector and all that. But every other aspect, Domantas Sabonis is just a way better basketball player. He's been with this Kings team. He's been with this Kings organization. And I get teams that, have made trades in the past together. It's like, oh, they've had a relationship. They've made some deals in the past. Let's see it happen again. It makes no sense for Myles Turner to come to the Sacramento Kings if he's back. I mean, we saw the Myles Turner Domas situation already teamed up when Domas was out there in Indiana. Like, it doesn't make any sense for the Kings to give up, especially future draft capital, especially in a point in time when the team is very much in flux, in transition with, we're not sure if this team's going to, have to bottom out with the type of trade package they're going to return for De'Aaron Fox. We're not sure what's going to happen with DeMar DeRozan. I have a video coming out on him tomorrow. I mean, we're just not sure what's happening with this squad, with this team here now at this point. So giving up future assets, giving up the trade pieces that are needed to acquire Myles Turner in one of these deals, and then on top of it, you already have Domas running your center position, running 5. And I know people are like, hey, Domas at the 4 would be sick. He's a more natural 4, especially with his improved three-point shooting. So maybe that would make some more sense. I don't know. We've seen in the modern NBA, we've seen the Myles Turner Domas experience, and I'm just not sold that's the direction that the Kings should really go down, and frankly, give up some significant assets to really go down. Again, this is a free agent signing. If it was something along those lines, then maybe you're more willing if the Kings don't have many other options and stuff. He does help anchor the defense. He does help out in other aspects. I mean, the rebounding would be a huge plus there for Myles Turner, but I'm much more sold on the report that seems to get more development, seems to getting more traction there for Monte McNair, and that's to go after John Collins, who will be cheaper. He's a little bit of a better fit. He's a better three-point. Myles Turner's good for three-point shooter too, but John Collins is the better three-point shooter. He's a very good rebounder. Defensively, Myles Turner definitely brings a lot more as a rim protector, rim presence. But in the modern NBA, especially with where this Kings roster is kind of positioned, where what they'd have to give up in these trade talks, in these trade discussions, John Collins is the guy I'd be much more intrigued by getting into this Kings roster. But my camera is froze, so that's time for me to stop yapping about all of this Myles Turner nonsense. I don't think it makes any sense for the Sacramento Kings to pursue. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys have the best thing as far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.